If you have been following the channel over the course of the last month, you saw that I posted quite a lot of articles on the Streamlabs Academy website while I was over in Germany taking a little break. And while I think articles are great and whatnot, I think that a video is somewhat easier to follow along and do the steps that are shown instead of like reading along. At least for me it is the way, so I figured I would just put the guide on how to stream to Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, or wherever you're streaming to in a video format and link it in the articles. But if you miss anything, you have question, all the article links are down in the description, the website as well, and yeah, like let's jump in. So the next thing that you need is a streaming software, and there are pretty much two softwares that you can choose from. There's OBS Studio and there's Streamlabs OBS. I highly recommend, if you're brand new to streaming, use Streamlabs OBS. It's a little bit more pretty looking, has more tools, more plugins that come with the software that you don't have to download separately like what you do with OBS, and it walks you through everything really well. Streamlabs OBS also has a subscription service which is called Prime, Streamlabs OBS Prime, which then allows you to restream to multiple platforms and also gives you a ton of overlays, so you don't even have to worry about that. It's all in the Streamlabs store right here. There's themes, there's your alert library, and your app store. Makes it really easy. If you're a little bit more familiar with it, I would highly recommend you use OBS Studio. I think it has a little bit more customization. It is a little bit easier on your CPU if you want to save a couple percentage there, but really up to you. So once you download the software, Streamlabs OBS in this case, you will go to your settings, you will go to stream, and you can then link all your accounts that you have. Like I said, if you have Streamlabs Prime, you can stream to all of these at the same time once you hit the go live button, or you simply connect the platform that you want to stream to. In output, you will have all your settings for your streaming. These will vary on whatever PC console you have, but you can pause the video right here. Those are the ones that I am currently using with a decent PC streaming build. I have one PC streaming and gaming on the same rig. For video, if you need to rescale the video because your stream just can't handle it really, you can scale back the resolution that is actually streamed to the platform. You can still game in your base resolution, which is maybe 1920 by 1080, but if you decide to upload it in 720, you could rescale it right here. Down on the bottom here, you see three boxes. This is your collection on the left. In the middle, you have the sources, and on the right, you have the mixer. Mixer being the audio sources. They're all mixed together right here, and you can control the volume, filters, noise gate, compression, all these things. Those will be controlled right here. In the middle, you have your sources, and sources can be a lot of different things. And this will bring us to the next step, setting up your microphone. When you set up your microphone, you want to add an audio input capture. You click on audio input capture and it actually tells you it's a built-in microphone, USB microphones, or other microphones. You can add a source, name it whatever you like, and once you add it, you then have the choice of whatever microphone that you have connected to your computer, and this is where it pops up. Please do not select your webcam microphone. This thing is the worst microphone, and even a headset like this that you use for gaming and maybe just communicating in game chat will be much better than a webcam one. So never use the built-in microphone. The other great thing though about Streamlabs OBS is that it also, within the mixer, often recognizes a mic automatically. So you can click on the little wheel right there and go to properties, and you can change anything in here as well and add filters to it. So often you don't need to, when it comes to Streamlabs OBS, add an audio source in here. If you have multiple audio sources, you can add them in here and mix them all together. But technically for slops, you don't need this. That brings us to the next part, how to add your webcam. Simply click on here again and add a video capture device. You can click on the video capture device. I already have one in here for my Sony that I use it, but let's create a new one. You can name it whatever you like again. And let's say we're using the webcam, for example. Now we can use the webcam. I think it's even turned on. Let's see. Oh, wow. Yeah, it is turned on. And we can adjust anything right here. And then you move this around, right? You get the idea of it. Same thing, if you want to add filters to it, for example, color correction, blur effect, stuff like that, simply select filters, and then you can add all kinds of things right here. Alrighty, the almost last thing that I really recommend that you do is use some kind of overlay. Of course, you could leave all this blank and not put anything here, but I highly recommend that you put some kind of overlay here to divide up the screen. This will be my game, by the way. Here's game chat and here's my webcam. It simply makes your stream a little bit more interesting. There are moving parts, there's something maybe pretty looking. If you are focused and not talking, there's still something to look at. You can set up different scenes, and these scenes on the left here are compiled of all the sources that you have. The way the sources are working, they're on top of each other. For example, this image right here, which is the intermission, all my socials down at the bottom, what you see here, has to go all the way on the bottom because the other elements have to build on it. If I would lay this on the top, you wouldn't see the game or the chat or anything behind it because it's all covered behind the overlay. And the last thing that you need is an alert. Alerts are really a must for your stream and can set your stream apart and trigger people into actually contributing to your stream. Streamlabs OBS has a built-in alert box, which you can find right here, and you can manipulate and upload your own little GIFs instead of this little zombie here. That's just the default. But the one thing to remember is that your alert box has to be on top of your sources at all time, because this is the most important source and you want it to be displayed no matter what. Also, if you have sounds for your alert box, you will find those down here in the mixer as well, and you can turn those up, down, add some filters, whatever you prefer. What is so great about Streamlabs OBS, which again OBS doesn't have, is that it has a huge and vast library of all kinds of overlays that you are looking for, and you can even sort them by like games, or you can sort them by popular. You have filters here so that you can find exactly what you're looking for, and you simply click on something like this, for example Nebular, install the overlay, and it'll bring you back to this screen. And I installed the Tactical Lion design for this matter, and you can see it automatically imports all the sources, different scenes. It gives me the intermission, and it sometimes also brings in your video capture device automatically in the designated windows for it, which is really great. And this is basically all you need to do in order to stream. You could now hit the go live button and stream. But I also made an article before you go live, the final setup, where are a couple tips that you really should consider before going live. And the first step is that you need to make sure that everything is working the way it is intended to. Also, if you're streaming a game or your browser, that is different. You can add a game capture, for example, within Streamlabs OBS in the sources where I just showed you, that will automatically capture the game, or a window capture that might automatically capture your browser. And you just have to play around with it and make sure you have those selected and the right game is loaded in, because sometimes if you switch games, the game capture will not change over. So just make sure it's there, that when you go live, people actually see you and the game. Like I said, make sure everything is working up to what you intended it to be. Step 2. And the third, and I think the most important thing that a lot of people overlook, and let me just come a little bit closer for that, is that streaming is not so much about you. It is about the audience, and it is about entertaining the people that decide to stop by and be in your stream. So make sure you engage them in your stream, ask them questions, how they're doing, get invested in their lives, try and, you know, get to know them. They will be essentially your friends, the people that are supporting you. Don't just make this about you unless you are an absolute pro player and this is your job. Then it's about you, and that's why people come to your stream, because you are unique in the sense you're a pro player and you can pull off games and gameplays that other people maybe can't, like Shroud, that alien. But if you're not a pro player and you need to find something that is unique about you, and it is really tough to find something unique and think, why would people watch me and not the person next door? But you have to figure that out. And after you have all that done, take a notebook, write down some topics to talk about so you never have awkward silence, engage your audience, and hit the go live button. You're good to go. I hope the video was helpful. If so, you can head over, if you see it on the website, to my YouTube channel. If you have more questions, hit me up. Let me know what you think, or happy streaming, guys. Happy streaming.